Hi everyone, my name is Huda Queen 94. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a huge New Orleans Saints fan, as well as being a huge fan of the NFL. And welcome back to my little mini woman cave here. Yes, I've officially left my hometown, and I'm back at my current town, I should say. Not very happy about that, but you know, it is what it is. Welcome back. Um, Week 8 has coming on, if you can believe it or not, and I gotta tell you, if you are a fan of any other team outside of the NFC South, and you did see the ending of that crazy Panthers-Falcons game, then that should tell you everything you need to know about the NFC South. That is the NFC South in a nutshell, in my honest opinion. I mean, and way to go Panthers! I mean, to screw up the standings like that, right? But rather I should say, way to go DJ Moore. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, that guy's not my player, that's not my team. But even I was ticked off. I mean, you can't possibly be that, I don't want to say stupid, but I mean, you can't be that crazy to just take off your helmet and totally get a penalty and have your inconsistent field goal kicker completely miss the PAT, which could have actually probably won the game, and they take it into overtime and then they lose. So that's because their field goal kicker missed the field goal. So yeah, look, I'm not trying to diss on them, but I gotta tell you, even that ticked me off. But either way, let's talk about things that actually matter, which would be the New Orleans Saints, because we've got quite a lot to talk about. So let's dive right into it. Let's talk Raiders at Saints. I do want to state that I did not watch the first quarter of this game, so that's going to be based off highlights, but everything else I did watch. So without further ado, let's dive into it. And yes, I have my computer. Okay, so in the first quarter, Raiders get the ball to start, I think. Hilford the Saints picks up the first down with a run close to midfield with 5:35. Dalton then throws a nice pass to Shaheed. Dalton hands it to Kamara for the score with 1:32 left. Saints lead Raiders 7-0 in the first. Not very exciting. At the start of the second, Adams is drilled by Davenport for a loss. They go for a fake in their own territory and they turn it over. Let's kicks a 37-yard field goal to make it a 10-0 game. Carr throws a pass to Renfro, which is almost picked off by Warner, but is picked off by Matthew with 11:11 left to go. Dalton throws to Kamara for the reach and score with 7:15 left to make it a 17-0 game. A ruling calls back a Davante Adams catch, and they call it incomplete, I should say. Carr is then sacked, but a flag gives them a first down. Carr goes to Adams, and the ball is incomplete. The Saints go downfield on a decent drive. Lutz makes a 38-yard field goal, leaving it a 17-0 game. I'm sorry, Lutz misses. Yeah, that didn't sound right. Lutz misses a 38-yard field goal, leaving it a 17-0 game. In the third quarter, Saints get the ball to start with 11:03. Dalton throws a pass to Kamara, who scores a 36-yard touchdown. His third touchdown of the day, making it a 24-0 game. Carr gets sacked twice on back-to-back plays. The Raiders are forced to punt. Hollins picks up the first on 3rd and long for the Raiders. It's brought back because of a holding penalty. Saints lead the Raiders 24-0 at the end of the third. Carr is sacked at the beginning of the fourth. The Raiders are forced to punt. Saints keep the drive going. Dalton throws to Olave for the first down. On 4th and 4, Saints go for it and turn it down and turn it over on downs with 3:33. Raiders finally cross midfield. Carr is sacked by Turner on the fourth sack of the game. The Raiders go for it on 4th and 5 at the Saints 45. They pick up the first. On 1st and goal, the backup for the Raiders throws to Abdul with 7 seconds left, and he's taken down inbounds. The Saints shut out the Raiders. Wow. Wow. Listen, did I call it? Because I have a feeling that I actually called it. I mean, listen, look, I didn't think that we were going to shut them out. Listen, I was very confident in this game. I thought that this was the game that we were going to win. I didn't see a shutout. I mean, I thought maybe, I don't know, 13-24, something like that. But I didn't see that coming. That was insane. I mean, that was almost a perfect game. And the Saints didn't even have to do much. That was what was so great about this win, is that, you know, they didn't really have to do much in the second half to secure the win. Now, some people could make the argument that it was just terrible coaching, you know, for the Raiders, and that they shouldn't have gone for the fake, which probably would have been game right then and there. And give the Saints absolutely no credit whatsoever. But listen, I think the Saints finally did what they were supposed to do, and what we've been saying, or what I've been saying that they should do. You know, me personally, there were things that I was not a fan of, particularly the end of the second quarter, just because I know that these little teeny tiny things have come back to completely bite us. So I wasn't a fan of the way it ended. I think we had an opportunity. I think it was 2nd and 1, and we threw it, or we should have ran it or something. No, it had been 3rd and 1. No. Well, anyway, we had some missed opportunities there, and then, well, let's, you know, missed the field goal. So again, things like that. For me, they're kind of something I do kind of worry about, just because, as I mentioned, these things have come back. So, you know, but that's just me. I want to state that that's just how I feel. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression that, hey, you know, I mean, we still won. So that is the important thing here. I do want to stress that. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Because other than that, looked pretty good. Andy wasn't sacked, so the O-line did their job. I don't think he was sacked last week either. So they're doing their job. Dalton had 229 yards and 2 touchdowns, so, you know, and no turnovers. I should add. Pretty great, pretty efficient, very clean. It's very clear who Dennis Allen is, you know, leaning towards moving forward. At this point, it kind of just looks like Jameis Winston is a highly paid cheerleader, and that's tough for me to say. But in a way, you know, we love Jameis Winston's energy. You know, we love his charisma. You know, he's very comical. I've mentioned this before. I don't mean it disrespectfully, but he's the kind of guy that, you know, is just so upbeat and so uplifting that just, you know, it kind of does. It's kind of, you're kind of in a weird situation, because Andy is winning these games for us and also losing them, but, you know, and we know that Jameis Winston is healthy and he can go out there, but something is kind of working. So it's kind of like, if it ain't broke, you know. But either way, moving on. We didn't have a 100-yard rusher in this game, as the Raiders, again, haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher. It doesn't really matter, because Kamara led in both rushing and receiving and had 3 touchdowns. So if you got him on your fantasy team, it's pretty great. Taysom didn't get involved as much in this game as I did predict he would. Or, well, I didn't predict he would. I said that if he did, he'd be the winning factor, which, you know, I clearly was wrong about that. But still, it doesn't really matter. Olave didn't have a monster game. So, you know, it still was enough to be effective. We were effective offensively, is what I should say. Either way, you know, I thought we were pretty good. I like Shaheed. I like the chemistry he's building with Andy Dalton. Yeah, so hopefully we will get Landry back soon. Little thing I kind of wanted to mention, since this is the most appropriate time. Obviously, we're not getting Michael Thomas back. I don't think that we will get Michael Thomas back. I don't think that he'll play for the Saints anymore. I know that his season is clearly over, and I'm sorry to hear that. I think that sucks. They're saying that Saints fans are mad about it. I haven't read anything on Twitter where Saints fans were particularly mad about that. Oh boy. But you know what more can you do? He hasn't really been. I mean, he played a little bit, I think, this season, and he didn't play last season. So it's kind of like, you see these new guys, you see them making plays, and no, they're not Michael Thomas, but you kind of, it kind of gets to a point where it's like, well, you know, we haven't seen him, so it's easier to kind of let go in a way. Not to say that you'll ever let go, but if he can't play, he can't play, and I can't see him playing again for us. I don't know what the future holds, but it sucks. It sucks that he can't play this season, but we got great guys here, so it is what it is, and I'm truly gonna miss him, but we gotta move on. But either way, just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Let's talk about the defense. I didn't mean to completely get sidetracked. I said if we held Josh Jacobs to 100 yards, we'd have a really great chance of winning. I also said that if we managed to make Adams and Renfrow non-factors, we would win this game. Waller didn't play. So Jacobs had 43 yards rushing, Renfrow had 6 yards, and Adams had 3 yards. So Carr had 101 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. I mean, I don't know what we did to them. I don't know. Well, I should say, what did they do to us for us to do that to them? I mean, that was insane. And I rarely give myself credit, but I called the interception. I called the pick. I didn't know who it was gonna be, but man, it looks like Matthew decided to finally show up for work, and I mean, I called it, so I'm so happy about that. We did sack Carr 4 times, and that's the thing about the defense. So hard to predict. I mean, they've allowed so many rushing yards, passing yards, points, and game after game, and they didn't allow anything in this game. So. Even held them at the end from actually getting a garbage time touchdown. So, which is great if you've got the Saints defense and your fantasy teams. Yeah, I thought they were going to be good this year. That's why I picked them up. Either way, we have all the right pieces. We just haven't figured out how they go and how they work or how to utilize them. But credit to the Saints, this was a really awesome win. So I'm very happy about that. As for the Raiders, listen, I have nothing against you. I love your city. I love your overpriced tiny food. Believe me, beautiful, awesome city. Best of luck to you moving forward. Sorry, not sorry, it wasn't more competitive. But either way, we've got something else to talk about. So this was a great win, as I mentioned, but we are in for a huge test on Monday. I won't sugarcoat it. This game does get me a little bit nervous. Ravens are 3-point favorites. Dalton apparently doesn't win in prime time, from what they tell me. And Lamar is 13-1 against NFC teams. I don't believe that. I don't actually believe that, but it doesn't sound right, is what I'm trying to say, but... To me, the numbers don't really matter because any given Monday, anybody can win. So, how do we beat the Ravens at home? Well, they are a 5-3 team atop their own division. Okay. Clearly, it starts with Andy. He can't play as badly as he did against the Cardinals. He can't throw 3 interceptions, or we will be seeing Jameis Winston. The O-line has to hold up as they have been doing. But as I mentioned, Andy Dalton can't force the ball. If it's not there, throw it out. Obvious common sense stuff. They haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, but that's not to say that we can't run on them. We do have Taysom. I'm going to keep mentioning Taysom because Swiss Army knife right there. They do give up some passing yards. Not a lot as of recently. But I think that this is going to be a game where Olave's going to have to step up. Again, don't know the situation with Jarvis, but we do know the situation on MTU now, so, but I do expect Olave to probably step up in this game. It's calling his name, I can tell you that much. But if we can get Jarvis back, it'd be a great addition, I think. Help us out greatly. I do predict that the Saints will probably be forced to throw the ball more than actually run it. I don't know if they'll get the ground game going, but we'll see. Lamar's numbers haven't. I mean, they've been back back and forth. They fluctuated quite a bit. What does concern me is that, you know, Lamar is a running quarterback. And we're not good with running quarterbacks. We've struggled a lot for years with a running quarterback. So that does concern me. And the fact that Lamar actually has led in some games in passing and, well, obviously in passing, but, you know, in rushing, I should say. That's a little concerning to me. I think if we can contain Lamar, then I think that that's probably going to be the number one thing to win this game, or the number one key, I should say, to win this game. But yeah, I don't know the situation on Mark Andrews. If he does play, he might be limited. Saints are pretty good at defending the tight end, so, you know, not really sure if I can say I'm worried about Mark Andrews per se. But either way, I think Duvernay will probably be the go-to guy in this game, as I think one of their main guys is not going to play, whose name I did not get, and I did not bother typing down. My bad. But either way, I think a lot of points could be scored in this game. But mind you that the Ravens haven't allowed, they allowed one team to score 30 plus points on them. But if we could keep up with them and we get a lead and we build on that lead, I think we have a good chance. But I think it's a huge challenge. So, and the Saints are gonna have to come up with a great game plan if they want to win this game. And stay in competition with everybody else in the division. We can't give them opportunities on stupid penalties. Saints know this. They need takeaways. They need to force punts. They need to do whatever they can to win this game and try to keep Justin Tucker away from trying to kick long field goals, because we know, well, in my honest opinion, I think Justin Tucker is the GOAT of kickers. I mean, he's got the record, so just keep them away from I guess, midfield to where he can kick a field goal. Probably not gonna happen, but still. One can only hope. And I do recall a game where Justin Tucker did miss. I don't know if it was it a PAT or was it a field goal? I have that image in my head where Justin Tucker did miss against us, and we won the game. I just don't remember if it was a PAT or if it was a field goal, but you know what I'm saying. That was a long time ago. Either way, Saints can win this game, as they can win most games, because, you know, as I mentioned, anybody can win at any time. That's the thing about football is it's so predictable, but it's so unpredictable. You know, you can analyze the game as best as you can, and yet the opposite can completely happen. So it's predictably unpredictable, if that's even a phrase. But either way, it's kind of like meteorology in a way. You know, you can try to predict the forecast or the weather and say, oh, you know, we got like a 0% chance of precipitation, and then it could completely rain. So it's a weird analogy, but if you think about it, it kind of does make sense. But either way, I think that is all I have to say for right now, because I'm rambling and I don't like doing that. Once again, my name is HudaQueen94. I'm also on Twitter under the same name, or Olave, Saint Savior, because Olave is the Saint Savior, I think. You know, but I wish I could tweet more often on that account, but the thing of it is that I don't get a lot of people actually liking my tweets, and I do have another Twitter account, so, you know, still the same situation, but I made that Twitter account to just strictly tweet about the Saints. Unfortunately, it's not very popular, so it's like, why bother? But I'm trying to get it there. But either way, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If not, hey, don't sweat it. It's fine. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd much appreciate that. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and go Saints! Who dat, baby? Okay, bye-bye.